In the quiet corners of the hospital, a comforting routine unfolded. The soft hum of machines filled the air, blending with the gentle conversations of caregivers and the occasional sound of laughter echoing down the hallways. Among these devoted caregivers was Jake, a male nurse renowned for his kindness and dedication. His tousled brown hair framed a face that radiated warmth, while his blue eyes conveyed understanding. He moved through the hospital with a calm presence, creating a safe haven for his patients. On this particular evening, he was assigned to Mr. Thompson, an elderly man battling advanced cancer. As he entered the dimly lit room, he saw Emily, Mr. Thompson's daughter, sitting by her father's bedside. The weight of her grief was palpable, and Jake felt an instant connection. He admired her strength even as she struggled, igniting a desire within him to provide the support she desperately needed. As the days turned into nights, Jake's shifts intertwined with Emily's vigil by her father's side. He often found himself stealing glances at her, captivated by her fierce determination despite the heaviness in her heart. The two exchanged small talk and gentle smiles, creating a fragile bond that grew stronger each day. Jake made it a point to check on Emily, bringing her steaming cups of coffee and engaging her in conversations about happier times, her childhood memories, her father's playful spirit, and the dreams she still held dear. Each shared story became a thread weaving them closer together. Emily's laughter was a rare gift that Jake cherished, illuminating the darkness that surrounded them. However, as her father's condition worsened, Jake noticed the light in her eyes dimming. He felt an overwhelming urge to protect her from the depths of despair that threatened to engulf her. One rainy night, as the storm raged outside, Emily finally succumbed to her emotions. She collapsed in tears, overwhelmed by the thought of losing her father. Jake quickly moved to her side, feeling the gravity of her grief weigh heavily on his heart. He placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, his voice steady and soothing as he reassured her. "You're not alone in this," he said, hoping to provide her with some semblance of comfort. Emily looked up at him, vulnerability etched across her face, and for a moment, the world outside faded. The connection they shared deepened, forged in the fires of shared sorrow. As they sat together, the rain poured relentlessly, mirroring the turmoil inside them both. Jake silently vowed to be her anchor during this turbulent time, even as he battled his own growing feelings for her. But that night marked a turning point. Suddenly, the calm of the room shattered as the beeping of the monitors intensified. The sound echoed through the sterile air, and Jake's instincts kicked in immediately. He rushed to Mr. Thompson's side, his heart racing with urgency. Emily stood frozen, the fear on her face transforming into sheer panic. "Stay with him," Jake called back, knowing she would follow, unable to be apart from her father in such a critical moment. As he stabilized Mr. Thompson, the atmosphere thickened with tension, and Emily's breath quickened. The reality of the situation pressed down on them like a heavy weight. In the chaos, Jake felt the intensity of their bond. It was forged not only in shared moments of laughter but now, in the most profound experiences of life and death. The code team arrived, a flurry of activity enveloping the room. Jake became one with the frantic energy, following their lead while stealing glances at Emily, who stood near the door, her face a mixture of fear and determination. "Is he going to be okay?" she managed to ask, her voice trembling. Jake hesitated, the weight of his responsibility hanging in the air. "He's stable for now, but we need to be prepared for anything." His words felt inadequate, yet he knew he had to provide her with some hope. They worked tirelessly, and finally, after what felt like an eternity, Mr. Thompson was stabilized. Relief washed over the room, but the shadows of uncertainty lingered. Jake knew they were merely postponing the inevitable, and the reality of their situation weighed heavily on both their hearts. As the days passed, Emily spent every waking moment at her father's side. Jake was always there, a steady presence offering support. They continued to share late-night conversations, and in those moments, the world outside faded away. Emily opened up about her life, recounting stories of laughter and love, of childhood adventures that seemed so far away now. Each memory was like a lifeline, pulling them both from the depths of grief. Slowly, the heaviness began to lift, replaced by a deepening bond that blossomed amidst the ashes of loss. They discovered that even in the darkest moments, there was space for love and connection. Together, they explored the complexity of grief, realizing that healing was not a destination but a journey filled with ups and downs, laughter and tears, each moment a testament to their resilience. On a particularly heavy evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emily collapsed beside her father, tears flowing freely down her cheeks. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered, her voice breaking with despair. The sight of her pain pierced Jake's heart, and he knelt beside her, taking her trembling hands in his. "You're stronger than you know," he said softly, determined to instill some hope in her shattered spirit. "You have to keep fighting, not just for him, but for yourself." The sincerity of his words resonated within Emily, and for a moment, the storm of emotions began to calm. They sat together in silence, sharing the weight of their grief while seeking solace in one another's presence. The intimacy of that moment marked a shift in their relationship, intertwining their fates in ways neither could have anticipated. Days later, tragedy struck as Mr. Thompson passed away peacefully, surrounded by the love of his daughter and the dedicated nurse who had become her confidant. The moment was bittersweet, the room was heavy with loss, yet Emily found a flicker of strength within her. As she held her father's hand for the last time, tears streamed down her face, but Jake remained steadfast by her side. "I'm here for you, every step of the way," he assured her, his voice a balm against the aching void. They stepped into the world outside together, the air heavy with grief yet charged with possibility. In that moment, Emily realized that she was not alone, and though her heart was shattered, she had someone to lean on as she navigated the challenging path ahead. In the days that followed, they ventured into the uncharted waters of grief, learning to lean on each other in their shared sorrow. Jake's role shifted from caregiver to a companion in healing. They spent long evenings talking about everything and nothing, finding comfort in their shared experiences. Jake listened intently as Emily shared her memories, her father's laughter echoing in her stories. Slowly, the heaviness began to lift, replaced by a deepening bond that blossomed amidst the ashes of loss. They discovered that even in the darkest moments, there was space for love and connection. Together, they explored the complexity of grief, realizing that healing was not a destination but a journey filled with ups and downs, laughter and tears, each moment a testament to their resilience. Through their journey, Jake and Emily learned that love could flourish even in the shadows of sorrow. As they faced each day, they grew closer, forging a connection that transcended their initial roles. Jake admired Emily's strength and courage, while she found solace in his unwavering support. Together, they navigated the challenges of grief, discovering that vulnerability could lead to profound intimacy. While the future remained uncertain, they found comfort in the knowledge that they would face it together. Their shared experiences became a foundation for a new kind of love, one rooted in understanding and mutual support. With every shared moment, they built a bridge over the turbulent waters of their emotions, transforming their grief into a bond that promised hope and healing for both.